Sibongile stared at the gleaming skyscrapers of Lagos as she stepped out of the cab. This was it, her big break. The long nights studying economics at university, the endless exams, the sacrifices, it had all paid off. She had landed the internship of a lifetime at an international bank, a place where dreams were meant to come true. Dressed in her best business attire, she felt a rush of excitement. The opportunity to work with some of the most powerful people in finance made her feel like she had finally arrived. But as Sibongile entered the building, her excitement was met with something unsettling. The hurried expressions, the cold reception from colleagues who barely noticed her presence, and the suffocating silence in the office weren't what she had imagined. There was no camaraderie, no sense of achievement. Just rows of people staring blankly at their screens, consumed by numbers. Doubts began to creep in, but Sibongile brushed them aside. She had worked too hard to be here. Surely, things would get better. Please read. The first few weeks passed in a blur of spreadsheets and data entry. Sibongile had expected more from her role, perhaps even mentorship from senior executives. But instead, she was met with indifference. No one seemed interested in her ideas or her enthusiasm. Most days, she spent hours crunching numbers for transactions she barely understood, always under pressure to meet impossible deadlines. Worse still, Sibongile started to notice how morally grey the environment was. Conversations around her hinted at corruption and backdoor deals. Clients who flaunted wealth often came from questionable sources, and the bank executives turned a blind eye. The life of luxury that had once fascinated her now seemed hollow and filled with compromises. It wasn't long before Sibongile started questioning whether this was the future she wanted for herself. During a rare lunch break, Sibongile overheard a conversation between two senior managers. Their voices were low, but their words were unmistakable. They spoke about manipulating financial reports to boost profits, discussing how to exploit loopholes in regulations. Sibongile felt a cold chill. This was more than just the pressure of corporate life. This was something unethical, something dangerous. Please read. As the days wore on, the sheen of the glamorous job faded away. She found herself going through the motions, her initial excitement completely drained. The hollow pursuit of profit at any cost left her feeling alienated. She no longer admired her colleagues, instead, she pitied them for their single-minded ambition. They were trapped in a world where success was measured by money alone, and Sibongile wondered how long she could survive in it. Please Regent. Desperate to escape the suffocating atmosphere of the office, Sibongile decided to explore the local markets. The bustling stalls, vibrant colors, and the rhythmic sounds of the city offered a sharp contrast to the sterile office environment. Here, life felt real. People were passionate about what they were selling: handmade goods, traditional crafts, and vibrant fabrics. It was a world filled with creativity, far removed from the sterile world of banking. Sibongile found herself drawn to the artisans, particularly a group of women who made intricate beadwork and textiles. Their pride in their work was palpable, and she struck up a conversation with one of them. The woman, named Amia, shared the struggles of trying to sell her goods in a market dominated by cheap imports. It struck a chord with Sibongile. She saw in Amia and the other artisans something she had lost: purpose. Please. After that encounter, Sibongile couldn't stop thinking about the artisans. The way their faces lit up when they talked about their crafts, the pride they took in their work, and the community they had built around their skills were things she had never seen in the banking world. She began visiting the market more frequently, learning about the lives of these artisans. Their stories were filled with struggle, yet also hope. Please evening, as Sibongile lay awake in her tiny apartment, a thought struck her: what if there was a way to help these artisans reach a broader market? The bank she worked for specialized in global finance, yet it did nothing to uplift communities like the one she had found. An idea started to take shape, and for the first time in months, Sibongile felt a spark of excitement again. She didn't know exactly how, but she knew she had to do something. Back at work, Sibongile struggled to focus. The spreadsheets, the meetings, the deadlines all seemed insignificant compared to the potential she saw in helping the artisans. But the thought of leaving her prestigious internship felt reckless. After all, she had worked so hard to get here, and leaving would mean abandoning the security she had fought for. Please register. The more she immersed herself in her job, the more disillusioned she became. Her colleagues celebrated profit above all else, and she knew that in this world, there was no room for the kind of change she wanted to make. But could she really walk away from the life she had dreamed of? The pull between ambition and ethics weighed heavily on her. Please. The breaking point came during a client meeting where Sibongile was tasked with preparing the financial reports. The client, a wealthy businessman, openly bragged about his corrupt practices, laughing as he detailed how he evaded taxes and exploited workers. Sibongile's stomach churned. She couldn't be part of this anymore. The dreams she had once held of climbing the corporate ladder now seemed like nightmares. After the meeting, she went back to her desk and stared at her computer screen, realizing that it was time to make a decision. She couldn't change the system from within. Sibongile made a bold decision. She typed out her resignation letter, her heart pounding as she hit send. The weight lifted off her shoulders immediately, but a new uncertainty crept in. What now? She had no plan, no clear direction, only the desire to do something meaningful. Please where? The next day, she returned to the market, her mind racing with possibilities. She approached Amia, the artisan she had befriended, and asked if she could help her sell her crafts online. Amia was hesitant at first. Sibongile spent the next few weeks researching fair trade practices, ethical business models, and e-commerce platforms. She was determined to create a business that not only sold beautiful crafts but also empowered the artisans who made them. Every evening, she worked late into the night, learning everything she could about the logistics of starting a business. Please register. Her enthusiasm was contagious. Soon, more artisans joined her cause, excited about the prospect of sharing their work with the world. Sibongile felt a renewed sense of purpose, something she had never experienced in her time at the bank. This wasn't just a business, it was a movement to reclaim dignity and creativity in a world dominated by exploitation. Months of hard work finally paid off when Sibongile received an email notification: her first sale. A customer in Europe had purchased one of Amia's beaded necklaces. Sibongile rushed to the market to tell Amia, who was overjoyed. It was a small victory, but it was enough to confirm that they were on the right path. As the orders trickled in, Sibongile's business grew. She focused on maintaining transparency, ensuring that every artisan received a fair share of the profits. For the first time in a long while, she felt proud of the work she was doing. The soulless spreadsheets of her previous life were a distant memory. Business began to gain momentum. Sibongile faced challenges she hadn't anticipated. Managing orders, coordinating with artisans, and handling customer queries quickly became overwhelming. While she had passion, she lacked experience in running a company. One late night, surrounded by papers and unfinished tasks, she questioned whether she had taken on more than she could handle. But she wasn't alone. The artisans rallied around her, offering to help with packaging, shipping, and even managing inventory. It wasn't just her business anymore, it belonged to all of them. The solidarity gave Sibongile the strength to push through the difficulties. She realized that the true value of what they were building wasn't just in the products they sold but in the community they had created. Just as things seemed to be looking up, disaster struck. A large shipment of goods sent to an overseas buyer was delayed due to customs issues, and the client cancelled the order. The artisans had worked hard to meet the demand, and losing such a big sale felt like a crushing blow. Sibongile felt responsible, and the setback hit her harder than she expected. She sat down with the artisans, apologizing and promising to make things right. But instead of anger, she was met with encouragement. Amy reminded her that setbacks were part of any journey and that they had come too far to give up now. With renewed determination, Sibongile vowed to learn from the mistake and improve their processes. They would come back stronger. Realizing that she couldn't do it all alone, Sibongile sought out partners who could help expand the business. One day, she reconnected with an old university friend, Tude, who had experience in logistics and business operations. He had recently left his job at a shipping company and was looking for a new challenge.